Okay.
Do we start with the resilience of a team coming back, having that 12-0 run and still finding a way? Or is it something bigger than that, the way you guys put together sort of a statement at a time of year when statements mean everything? Whatever you want.
Look, games are long. Like, more than anything, this was an introduction to our new players, especially Terry, that this is an introduction to Heat Knicks. This is what these games are. It's going to be back and forth all game long. Teams will get a double-digit lead. The other team will come back. That's what happens. But you have two teams that are very committed to doing tough things, particularly on the defensive end, and it's tough to generate, wide-open looks. And anytime there is an open look, you see both benches just going crazy, overreacting to any kind of miscue, but somebody does have to score. This is not just a cage match, but it's really competitive, and it was good to see us respond to the competition and find a way to win it at the end. That when they came back, you hear the groaning, or you hear some of the smattering of Knicks fans. You can do a couple things. You can either start to feel sorry for yourself, or you just respond in a competitive way. It's a great living that we have. It's a great time of year. It's awesome to be a part of these type of games that have this kind of spirit. You have to play well. You have to do things connected together to be able to earn wins, and we were able to do that tonight.
Defensive disposition. It seemed. I mean, this is not atypical for you guys, obviously, but you talked about Terry having an introduction to Heat Knicks. This almost seemed like a continuation of the introduction of what playoff defense.
Oh, for sure. Terry had that introduction early on in his career, and then it's really been the last 5 years where people have forgotten. But he's always had a competitive disposition about him. Even going back to college, he's played big games. That's when he's been at his best. But you never really know until you're in these environments, and it's taken him, some time to get comfortable here. And we wanted to show him a little bit of grace through that, but we had a ton of moving parts, and I think by now he knows that everybody wants him to be that aggressive, and you hear that, hey, go be yourself, but what does that actually mean? When you have Jimmy and Bam telling him that, all right, okay, it's okay for me to take over moments during the course of the game, and particularly late. It just shows you, what he's capable of, because he's done that a lot, even in Charlotte when they weren't playoff ramification type games, but they still are fourth quarter clutch games.
It seemed like you couldn't take Haywood out of the game there late. He made some shots, but how much was his defense tonight?
He's so inspiring, right now. He just continues to grind. He continues to work, continues to get better, and he just does all the little things, for a team to help you win. And you need players like that in this league. I've talked about it so many times. Everybody celebrates everything on that final line of the box score, and everything in college and NIL. It just gets AAU. It just gets a little bit confusing, for players. But if you can embrace a role and compete and do winning things on both ends of the court, it shows that that's really valuable. And he hit, a big three. That kind of gave us a little bit of distance when they made their run, and he hit the three, went up three. I was like, okay, let's just compete and enjoy these last 3 minutes and figure out how we're going to get this win. But defensively, yeah, he has the ability, but it's really more born out of all the work and drilling and film watching, and he really works at it, and he takes it seriously, that side of the floor. we just really appreciate what he's given us.
We know Brunson's good enough that he's not always going to shoot 5 of 18, no matter how good the defense is. But what did you feel like you guys did right in terms of corralling his drives and giving up the right shots at least?
Yeah, it is difficult, because you corral them, and then now they have the 3-point shooters. Every time probably everybody's saying, how did he get open? That's how he got open. Great players force you to bring a second defender and sometimes a third defender, and then you have to scramble and make things up from there. But he's that good right now. His footwork and his cleverness, his aggressiveness, playing against your aggressiveness, the entire package, it just makes it extremely, challenging. You just have to be absolutely rock solid and disciplined, and sometimes he's going to make shots even when you do that. All right, go.
Just curious what's going through your head when Terry's taking on that final shot, kind of coming off that BAM screen. And kind
Well,
of
at that point, I'm like, hey, go do what you've been doing. Go do what we've seen you do, for several years. Go do what you've did against us for too many years. There's 4 seconds left on the clock. The play got blown up, and that's what great players can do is they create something out of nothing, and that step back is something that's very comfortable. It's in his package. It's probably one of the most comfortable shots he has, and it's also the one that's going to his right. A lot of people don't, feel comfortable doing that one. That arguably, I've never asked him, but that might be arguably his most comfortable one, and we just all appreciate his ability to shot create and make shots in those situations. All right.
Just quickly, just Kevin's first minutes in a while since late February. What did you see out of him?
Yeah. First, it takes a real professional like Thomas, to have an understanding of that. This is what depth is all about. And obviously we've used all of our depth, but the depth, becomes a little bit more complex when you have more guys available. And he had really given us such tremendous minutes the last 6 weeks while Kevin was out. Kevin gives us something different. It spaces the floor in a different way. You get some overreactions that lead to open shots either for him or for somebody else that you can't necessarily script or make a play call for. And he just has that, such great veteran experience, for these kind of games, these kind of matchups, and then hopefully, what's ahead for us in the playoffs. All right, thank you.